Imagine this. You are alive. You breathe. You feel. But every morning you wake up inside a tight wooden coffin. No light. No fresh air. No sense of time. The darkness is so heavy you can't even see your own hands. You don't know what time it is, what day it is, or even here anymore. This was the daily reality of 20-year-old Colleen Stan. For 7 long years, she lived locked inside a box the size of a coffin. And the most terrifying part? The door sometimes opened. She was allowed outside. She even visited her parents' house. But she never escaped, because she believed that if she spoke a single word, her family would be killed. What Colleen went through seems almost unimaginable. This is part 2 of a case still considered one of the most horrific in criminal history. The story of Cameron Hooker, the man who kidnapped Colleen Stan and kept her captive for 7 years. If you haven't seen part 1, check the link below. Now, let's continue. Months passed and Cameron and his wife Janice decided to move. They left their house in Red Bluff and moved into a trailer. Why? Maybe because of money, or maybe for other reasons. The trailer had no basement, no torture room, but Cameron quickly found a solution. At that time, waterbeds were very popular. He placed one in the bedroom, and under the wooden frame, he built a narrow coffin-like box. From that moment on, Colleen lived under their bed. She spent almost 2 years there, most of the day locked in suffocating darkness. When she was let out, it was only to be humiliated and forced to work. Soon, Cameron and Janice had their second child. Janice gave birth at home, right there on the waterbed. And all that time, beneath them, inside the wooden box, Colleen lay silent, her head inside another box. No air. Complete darkness. In December 1980, after more than 3 years in captivity, Cameron gave her a so-called gift. He allowed her to call her parents. But in truth, it was a test of obedience. Colleen picked up the phone and dialed home. Her sister answered. The family already believed she was either dead or trapped in a cult. The call lasted only a few minutes. Colleen said she was fine, that she was happy. No details, no explanations, because she believed the mysterious company was listening to every word. For her family, it was proof she was alive. For Cameron, it was victory, a confirmation of how completely he had broken her will. But even that wasn't enough. In March 1981, he went further. He decided to take Colleen back home, to Riverside. Before the trip, he warned her, if she revealed even a hint of the truth, the company would kill her entire family. He told her to introduce him as Michael Powers, the fake name written in their contract, and to tell everyone he was her fiancé. Imagine the absurdity. A kidnapper, a rapist, presented to her family as her future husband. Cameron left Colleen with her parents for a whole day. He said he had a conference in San Diego, and he drove away. And during those 24 hours, Colleen never spoke a word of truth. Not a single cry for help, not even a hint. She acted stiff, tense, but she stayed silent. Her family didn't press her either. They were convinced their daughter had joined a cult, and they were afraid of losing her forever. It was their first meeting in years, so they simply rejoiced that she was alive. The next day, Cameron returned, smiling, playing the role of her fiancé. The family even took a picture, Colleen hugging him, both of them smiling, looking like a happy couple. If you didn't know the truth, it looked like an ordinary family photo. But once you do, it's unbearable to look at. After that trip, Cameron's behavior changed drastically. Before, Colleen was sometimes allowed out of the box, to clean, even to breathe fresh air. But now, he locked her inside again, 23 hours a day. Why? Maybe he got scared of his own boldness. Maybe he realized he had given her too much freedom. Whatever the reason, she found herself back in complete darkness and isolation. And this lasted for another 3 years. Almost every hour of every day, trapped in that suffocating box. Only in 1983 did something change. Colleen began to be released more often. At first, just to clean the house. Then to care for Cameron and Janice's children. And here's the question. What did those children see? What did they feel? The eldest daughter was already 6, an age when a child begins to understand much more. They were growing up in a house where a woman was kept in a box under the bed for years. What scars did that leave on their minds? Cameron gave Colleen more and more household chores. Then he went further. He ordered her to find a job. She became a maid. Every dollar she earned, she handed over to him. By day she worked. By night she returned to the trailer, back under the bed, back into her wooden grave. The nights never changed. Darkness, isolation, and torture. Why didn't she escape, you may ask? The answer is simple and terrifying. Colleen believed in the company. She was convinced they were always watching her, that if she revealed even a single hint of truth, they would kill not only her, but her entire family. After so many years of torment, it's hard to imagine she could think any differently. The miracle is that she survived it all. But even this wasn't enough for Cameron. He started building his own prison in the yard, and he forced Colleen to help. "You will teach others to be as obedient as you," he told her. 7 years after the kidnapping. And then, something unexpected happened. It seemed Cameron began to see Colleen as a second wife. For Janice, this was unbearable. She started going to church. She often spoke with Colleen about the Bible, and eventually she broke. Janice confessed. There was no company. It was all Cameron's invention. No judges, no agents, no secret police watching their every move. Nothing. Why did she tell the truth? Out of jealousy? Out of guilt? Or maybe fear that Cameron was truly becoming attached to his victim? We'll never know. But for Colleen, this truth was a turning point. The fear that had kept her prisoner for years vanished. And then she decided to leave. One day, when Cameron wasn't home, Colleen walked out of the trailer. She made it to the bus station. She called her father and said, "I'm coming home." Even more shocking, she called Cameron too. She said, "I'm leaving." He cried. He begged her to stay. He swore he loved her. But Colleen no longer believed him. She simply left. The strangest part came after. She didn't go to the police. She didn't tell her family, not even a doctor or a friend. It was as if she tried to start a new life by erasing the past. Even more, she kept in touch with Cameron and Janice. She even agreed to help Janice rehabilitate her husband. Was this Stockholm Syndrome? Maybe. Or maybe her mind was so broken, she no longer saw the difference between good and evil. But the system didn't stay silent. 3 months after Colleen's escape, Janice went to church. And she confessed everything to the pastor. The kidnapping, the box under the bed, the years of sexual slavery, the fake company, the photographs, the torture, the contract. Imagine that pastor. A normal Sunday. And suddenly, the doors to hell are opened in front of him. He didn't hesitate. He called the police immediately. At first, detectives didn't believe it. The story sounded so insane it seemed like fiction. But their doubts disappeared the moment they entered the trailer. Everything was there. The box under the bed, the torture devices, the photographs, the contract where Colleen was only named as K. Evidence that needed no explanation. Cameron Hooker was arrested, charged with kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, multiple rapes, and torture. At trial, 2 women testified, Colleen and Janice. Colleen had to tell a courtroom full of strangers the most horrifying moments of her life. That alone required superhuman strength. Janice testified under oath that she, too, had been Cameron's victim. But she added something else. In 1976, just months before Colleen's kidnapping, Cameron had allegedly killed another woman, Marie. He kidnapped her, tortured her, and shot her in the stomach with a pellet gun. After that, she vanished. Her body was never found. But Janice knew details never reported in the press, which meant she either witnessed it or took part in it. Without a body, prosecutors couldn't charge him with murder. The trial focused only on Colleen's case. Cameron's defense attorneys argued something absurd, that Colleen stayed with him voluntarily, that she participated in his fantasies. But the jury didn't buy it. How could anyone believe in consent when a woman was locked in a box for 23 hours a day, threatened with her family's murder, and even stripped of her own name? The verdict was unanimous. Guilty on all counts. The sentence, 104 years in prison. In fact, the court even brought in the very bed with the box underneath, so the jury could see for themselves the conditions Colleen had been forced to endure for years. And even then, Cameron showed his arrogance. When the judge announced the sentence, he replied, "Thank you, Your Honor. Now I have a library, a gym, and time to enjoy life. That's better than living with those two women." And Janice? She received full immunity in exchange for her testimony. No punishment at all. It's hard to comprehend. Yes, she was also a victim, but at the same time an accomplice. She signed the contract. She saw the torture. She helped hide the crime. Can someone be both victim and criminal at once? Yes, and the court chose to focus only on Cameron. Janice walked away with a new name and a new life. But the final twist happened just recently. In 2021, Cameron Hooker applied for parole. More than 40 years behind bars. The COVID pandemic. Old cases being reviewed. It seemed like he had a chance. Fortunately, the district attorney strongly opposed it, and he was kept in prison. But legally, the threat remains. If the board ever decides he is no longer a dangerous sexual predator, he could be set free. And what about Colleen? She survived. She returned to normal life. She got an education. She married. She became a mother. Today, she works as a volunteer in an organization that helps women who have experienced violence. In one interview, Colleen confessed, "I survived because of my imagination. I would travel in my mind. I went on picnics with my family. I relaxed by the sea. They were imaginary, warm places where I felt safe. And that's what kept me from breaking."